Well, the election, not just a big story here in Georgia, but across the country, a big win for Democrats.
Yeah, we want to bring in our Zach Merchant, co-host of the Georgia Vote, along with Faith for this discussion. Zach, some pretty big wins last night, especially when we're talking about the Democratic Party. What, if any, was a surprise here when we look at what we saw?
I think there were a lot of surprises. We just heard from Doug about sort of the situation, the state of play here in Georgia. But Democrats across the country were looking for results in a number of key races, a gubernatorial contest in Virginia and in New Jersey, the New York City mayoral contest. The Democrats took all three of those races. And so there's a little bit of a parallel in the national conversation and the local one. National Democrats echoing what we heard from Georgia Democratic Party Chair Charlie Bailey. They want to really get as much storytelling, as much narrative building out of this. And they want to say that narrative is Democrats have momentum going into 2026. Obviously, Republicans are going to have a different take on this, but a big night for Democrats.
Narrative and messaging, right? I mean, if you think about it, Democrats since the election last year in 2024 have not had much, like Doug was saying, to rejoice about. Republicans trying to put the blame on Democrats for the shutdown, of course, vice versa, a lot of finger pointing. But this could be a signal to what the voters are thinking heading into the midterms. But in terms of messaging, Zach, what are we hearing on the ground right now?
I think a lot of a two-sided story, right? Republicans do want to say, hey, there are all these factors that suggest it's not the story that's being told right now. Yes, Democrats won, but they make the argument that places like Virginia and New Jersey,
yep,
they're swingy states a little bit, at least Virginia, but they tend to skew Democratic in big statewide races, and they're going to continue to echo that message as they try to downplay these results. But Democrats are going to do the exact opposite. They're going to really emphasize this, and it's kind of like when we talk about polls. Polls are just one snapshot in time.
Yeah.
When people go and cast a ballot, it is in some ways a microcosm, a snapshot of the issues that are most important to them. Right. The PSC race being top of ballot right here in Georgia, it was an affordability race, according to a lot of strategists. People were frustrated. Will they still be frustrated, and will they still be blaming the same party for those frustrations come 2026? I think that's a question that we don't have an answer to. Democrats and Republicans, they want to find one.
Yeah. Well, we will certainly have to wait and see. We have a long road ahead of us for the midterms with some action in between, too. Zach, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll be discussing this much more this Sunday on the Georgia Vote. You don't want to miss it at 11. Zach and I will be there for you. Now, among those wins for last night's Democrats here in Georgia, here's what Zach was just talking about, the Public Service Commission race. Democratic challengers Alicia Johnson and Peter Hubbard, they won handedly in districts 2 and 3. Last night on our live election coverage on 11 Alive Plus, the Georgia Vote panel had some strong comments on how Republican campaigns fare.
I think the Republicans never could get their footing under them for their campaign on what their message was. They were sort of put into a position of saying, they didn't phrase it this way, needless to say, but, we have raised rates a number of times in the last 3 years, but don't vote for the other guys because they're going to raise rates. It wasn't going to be a winning message. I don't think the Republicans the candidates never grasped it. I think their campaigns probably were being run by third-party entities in a lot of cases. I just think this was a mess.
That was Republican strategist Mark Roundtree at the panel there. To get more analysis of election night, you can head to 11 Alive Plus. And just know, when live events and breaking news happens, you can count on live coverage on 11 Alive Plus. It's free. You can download it to your TV, and you can start streaming today.